in the previous episode of Knowell series, we have talked about how in today's time even some proof exists about this Ramayana and Mahabharata and how you can prove it. We have told you or gave you information about this all topics. Let me just quickly give you a recap of that episode. We have talked about the Georgian calendar or perfect narration of planetary positions. Also, we have talked about solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. Also, we have told you about how they measure distance between sun and earth. Also, the speed of light, which is very interesting topic. Also, we have talked about the mysterious city Dwarika. In this episode, we're going to talk about a lot of more proofs and we'll take this episode to next level. So let's get started. First of all, let's talk about the nuclear war, which is mentioned in Mahabharata and Ramayana. It is observed that the divine astras and chakras mentioned are considered as a weapon of mass destruction. Using this type of weapons of mass destruction, both Kauravas and Pandavas killed 1660 million warriors in Kurukshetra war. How 1660 million warriors were killed in just 18 days during Mahabharata war and 50,000 Vrishnis and Andhkar in day. During 5000 BC, the civilization was not advanced. During the war, warriors generally used early weapons such as bows and arrows, swords and mace. That's it. Mahabharata epic narrates strange technologies such as mantra evoked celestial weapons, also flying vimanas, men in spacesuits, space travel, planetary orbits, divya drishti, human cloning, vitro fertilization, artificial insemination, etc. Probably all these strange technologies was provided by aliens such as God. Number of celestial weapons of different destruction capability was used by great warrior in Mahabharata war. The celestial weapons used in the war are considered as a weapon of mass destruction. In the term of modern weapon technology, they are considered as at least celestial weapons. Until the testing of first nuclear test in Trinity and bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki with nuclear bombs in 1945, the modern world has not realized that some of the selected celestial weapons used during Mahabharata and Ramayana war is indeed unclear weapons and they are considered as nuclear weapons. So that was the whole thing. Dr. G. Robert Oppenheimer, who is the director of Manhattan Project, is credited as being one of among other who are the father of the bomb. So he is known as father of the bomb, atomic bomb I mean. He learned Sanskrit in 1933 and read Bhagavad Gita in the original form. So yes, he read full Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit language and self-translated it. The necessity of the United States subsequent dropping of not one but two atomic bombs on Japan. Examined in the 1965 documentary, the decision to drop the bomb remains a matter of debate. Oppenheimer went on to oppose nuclear weapons, describing himself to an appelled President Harry Truman as having blood on my hands. So that was the whole story of nuclear war theory, which is connected with Mahabharata and Ramayana. Now we will talk about the actual evidences which are exist of this nuclear war in location form, in geographical form. So let's talk about it. Mahabharata was a nuclear war. Okay. In the modern era, there is no evidence of nuclear explosion in the state of Punjab, Karachi and nearby existing states, but there is an existence of high nuclear radiation figured out in some of these areas by nuclear scientists. This place was earlier covered by Kurukshetra. It is the place where Pandavas and Kauravas battled against each other in the famous Mahabharata war. It is said that people like Arjuna, Drona, Karna and Bhishma did a lot of hard work to get this celestial weapons, also known as astras. And Brahmastra is considered as one of the most powerful astra. This astra is capable of performing nuclear reaction, which is said to create heavy destructions. In the territory of Rajasthan in northwest India, a layer of exceptionally radioactive cinder was found close to Jodhpur, which was sufficient to warrant an examination. Afterward, the old remains of Harappa toward the north and Mohenjo-daro toward the west were uncovered in Pakistan, were proof of an atomic blast going back a great many years prior was found. Certain zones of the site additionally indicated expanded dimensions of radioactivity. The function of astra is more than the missile. It is said that astras used in Mahabharata probably might have also used technology of emitting most dangerous rays like gamma rays and others, which have exceptional power to penetrate. Some astra returns to the person who launches it, for instance Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra. This may be similar to reusable missiles which the Indian Space Research Organization is working on. If we are talking about Brahmastra and all this astra, then let me tell you one thing, that in Mahabharata one scripture has been told whose name is Brahmasira. Brahma has one head in Brahmastra and 4 heads in Brahmasir. This means that Brahmasir was 4 times more powerful than Brahmastra, so it can create more heavy mass destruction. After all this thing, we get one question in our mind, that why we didn't find the death body of soldier who fought in Kurukshetra. As per our culture, dead bodies are cremated, burned, and the ashes and any kind of traces of bones are usually dispersed in rivers or water bodies. So there is virtually no possibility of finding bones of Mahabharata warriors, as most of them would have been cremated as per our cultural practices, so which we can see. Now let's talk about the flying aircrafts, which is mentioned in Ramayana and Mahabharata. First of all, did Indian fly aeroplanes, carry out STEM call research, and even use high-tech super weapons? Yes, if we say in today's time, yes, India does it. But can you imagine these all things in 5,000 or 7,000 years ago? Epics such as Mahabharata and Ramayana have been considered as a proof for these all things. There is a book, a treatise called Vimanika Shastra by the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. The treatise consists of 8 different kind of ancient aircraft which could use solar rays, electrical energy of stars, and in some cases even mercury to propel flying machine. So these are the all things which are mentioned in that book. Some of the aircraft are cylindrical shaped and some shaped like cigars, so it's different. The treatise appeared mysteriously in 1904, 1 year after the Wright brothers flew an aeroplane on December 17, 1903. Even more astonishing is this claim by many supporters of this theory that in 1895 a test flight was actually organized on Chowpatty Beach, Mumbai, India in 1895 by Shivkar Talpade. And this whole flight was actually inspired from this Vimanika Shastra. Sage Bhardwaj has written some books like Yantra Sarvesam and Vimanika Shastra, etc. And they talk about around 7 types of different aeroplanes. Please find this Shivkar Bapuji Talpade because he knows something very mysterious. The Sanskrit word Vimana first appeared in Vedas with several meanings ranging from temple or palace to mythological flying machine. Reference to these flying machines were common in ancient India text, even describing their use in warfare. and being able to fly with Earth's atmosphere. Vimanas were also said to be able to travel into space and underwater. The sun and Indra and several other Vedic deities were transported by flying wheeled chariots pulled by animals, usually horse, but like the Agnihotra Vimana with 2 engines and Gaj Vimana were now. Rigveda also talks about this whole thing, and also it's mentioned mechanical birds in Rigveda. Later text around 500 BC talks of self-moving aerial cars without animals. In some modern Indian languages, the word Vimana means aircraft is very popular. As per Ramayana, Puspak was actually originally made by Vishwakarma for Brahma, the Hindu god of creation. Brahma gifted it to Kubera, the god of wealth, but was stolen along with the Lanka by his half-brother, the demon king Rauna. It is reportedly resembled the sun and could go anywhere, wherever you want. So this was the power of Puspak. There are mention of Lord Rama using it and under the command of Ragira. So, by the way, Ragira is just captain of that Puspak. The chariot reportedly rose up into the higher atmosphere. This celestial self-propelled car was large, had 2 stories and many chambers with window, and was strapped with flags and banners. By the time Mahabharata 400 BC, these flying chariots had grown in size, but they never lost the large wheels. Mahabharata mentions the genius Yonas as creator, chief designer of finite diamond-side Vimana with 4 solid wheels owned by Asur Maya. Jain literature talks about various flying different machines, starting from the 4th Tirthankar traveling in Jayanta Vimana to the very famous 24th Tirthankar Mahavira emerging out of great Viman Puspautra. So yes, Jain literature also talks about it. Vimanika Shastra, translated in early 20th century, covers definition of aeroplane, pilot, aerial routes and planes are described in very great detail. In 1991, a book by David H. says that there are planes mentioned in ancient India that will not break, will not catch fire, and even cannot be destroyed. If you want to read this book name is named as Vimana Aircraft of Ancient India and Atlantis. So check out it. The details of information were so deep and so much understandable that there is a mention of actually how you can make planes motionless. And I am talking about planes, not helicopters. Planes can't just hover, and here they have secret power to make it motionless or hover. Also, there is information to make them invisible. The secret of retrieving photograph of interior of any enemy planes. Also, the secret of ascertaining the direction of enemy plane approach, also known as radar system. The secret of making persons in enemy planes lose consciousness, and the secret of destroying enemy planes. So this whole things are just crazy. They have done this. By the way, all this information I am saying here is just a part of a whole script. There is a lot more in that script which is not even just yet translated. The method of propulsion used in some planes or some Vimanas are actually anti-gravitational, a system similar to the Laghima, the non-power of man's ego, a centrifugal force strong enough to counter gravitational pull. Hindu yogis for long have maintained lagima enables a person to levitate. So this whole things just gives us one explanation that there is official history and one unofficial history. Official history only noted that the Wright brother flew the first plane in 1903, but unofficial history said that actually the plane was invented by the Hindu sage Mahasi Bharadwaj. So this was all about the aircrafts and all these things. There are a lot more things available as information from our side, but I will not bore you anymore. We going to put all these things, all these secret things which are not mentioned in podcast, because podcast can get lengthy at a time. So we will write all these things in our blog, so make sure to check it out. We're going to launch this blog in 7 to 8 months, so we are very excited to launch it. I hope you are also excited to watch it. Now let's talk about the landing space of Rauna's aircraft. So when any aircraft flies, or I'm not talking about the normal aircraft like planes and all, I'm talking about the big aircrafts like big projects like Artemis projects and all these things. So I am basically talking about the rockets which can make any system fly towards the interstellar space or in the actual space. So that's what I am talking about. They leave landing strips before they fly these machines. So in Sri Lanka, scientists have found some landing strips which are just very weird, and they are saying that this all landing strip of mystic plane is actually strips of Pushpak Vimana, which is true actually. As I told you that Pushpak Vimana is actually stolen by Rauna, and this whole thing just explains us all things. Some of the Indian ideologists and propagandist historians define this great marking as a useless stone tablet, but their sole intention is to suppress the true history of great Halayaka generation lived in ancient Lanka, thus keep Sri Lanka under their iron training. The meaning of Ranmasu Yana reveals lots of secret. The word itself defines that it is priceless land because it may carry secret of universal travel through Stargate. Because it may carry secret to universal travels through Stargate. So this was the whole concept and explanation of how Ramayana and Mahabharata was real. It is fact. It is not just a story, not just poetry. It's all about the real life incidents and all the things and technologies which are considered as just a fictional theories are actually true. So this was podcast of all the informations which we gathered for this particular topic. I hope you loved it, and I hope you love our upcoming episodes too. So thank you so much for listening to me. I will meet you in next podcast.